On April 8th, 2024, Evansville will be in the path of totality for the total solar eclipse. Let's find out exactly what that means and talk about what kind of impact this astronomical event will have on our region. That's coming up next on WNIN Newsmakers. Welcome to WNIN Newsmakers. I'm Jessica Costello, evening news anchor for Eyewitness News. In a little over a week, a total solar eclipse will be viewable, with Evansville actually falling into its path of totality. Here to discuss exactly what that means is Dr. Kent Scheller, professor of physics at USI. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, we're excited about this conversation. I want to first go over what exactly happens during a solar eclipse, if people might not know just yet.
Sure. On a daily basis, we all stare up at the sun, and hopefully for not too long without shades. And we'll talk about safety in a little bit. But on an eclipse day, the moon will pass through the path of the light coming from the sun, so it will create a shadow. Now, not always is it a total solar eclipse. Sometimes the moon is not exactly in the same line as the sun, so you'll block part of the sun. But in this event on April 8th, totality, as you referred to it, the center of the sun, the center of the moon, and the center of your eyes are going to be in a straight line. So it's going to block the sun completely. It'll turn nighttime at 2:02 in the afternoon.
I think we hear that, but we're all not totally prepared for that if we haven't experienced that yet. I know I haven't, so I'm really excited for that moment. But I want to also talk about the path of totality. What does it mean for Evansville to be in it, and what does that path look like?
Yes, so if you can imagine this, the sun is moving, the moon is moving about the earth is moving about the sun, so you've got an odd confluence of a line happening. So it's kind of rare. And what you'd see, if you were looking from space down at the earth, you'd see this shadow. So you'd see a black dot going across the United States, and we happen to lie in the path of that black dot shadow going through from the southwest to the northeast this time. That black dot's about 90 miles wide. So when we say path of totality, there's a 90-mile ribbon, if you will, cutting across the United States that'll be completely dark. And if you're outside of that ribbon, you'll see some darkness, but not totality. And that's the difference between what we saw in 2017 versus what we're going to see on April 8th.
Okay, so a very different viewing event.
Yes. In fact, historically, people have written about it, painted about it, given talks about it, that the experience between a partial eclipse and a total solar eclipse is very, very different.
So you just kind of segued into my next question. How many different kinds of eclipses are there?
Yeah, so in 2017, we experienced what we call a partial solar eclipse. So when that happens, the moon does travel over the path of the sun's light, but it doesn't completely block it out. So you'll see a partial, like a crescent, you'd see a crescent moon, you'd see a crescent sun.
Okay.
You'd see light coming from the sun, the shape with a rounded shape of the moon. It's because their centers didn't pass in front of each other. In the event of an annular solar eclipse, the second type of eclipse, the sun and moon do pass center to center, but if the moon is too far away from the earth at that point in time, it won't block out the whole sun. So while it passes through the center, you'll see a ring, like an annulus, around the sun. So you get this, it's a beautiful image, but you still have daylight. It will get darker, but not quite as dark as the third type, which is a total solar eclipse. So in that case, the moon is close enough to the earth that the light cone that the sun sends to the earth is completely blocked by the moon at that spot, and no light's going to get to us. So it's going to turn nighttime. The animals are going to think it's nighttime. You're going to see animals do some weird things. You're going to see humans do some weird things.
I'm sure.
But it's going to be a great day.
Well, in terms of a total solar eclipse, has anything like this occurred in our region? I'm sure at some point, maybe?
Yes, we've had total solar eclipses before, but we haven't had one for many, many years. I couldn't tell you the previous one. What I can tell you, though, is that it is rare enough that we won't see another one for 621 more years. So if you're planning on seeing another solar eclipse, you're probably not going to make it. I would take advantage of this opportunity because it's a very rare event.
So this very well could be a once-in-a-lifetime event for some of us
Yes.
that maybe don't travel for events like this.
Yes, if you're stuck in Evansville, you're going to see one on April 8th. If your only other way to see a total solar eclipse in your lifetime would be to go somewhere else, which makes it even so odd that in the tri-state, I mean, there was a total solar eclipse in Hopkinsville just in 2017. So within a lifetime of you and I, there have been two, and that's extremely rare.
Okay, well then we should all feel very special to be in the path of totality and be able to
Absolutely.
experience this. You brought up safety, and that is key here because everyone wants to enjoy the event, but there are some things we need to be aware of in terms of how to view the event. There's going to be a lot of people here, so let's talk all things safety.
Yes, so just first, why do we have to be safe? Light enters your eyeballs, you have a lens. That lens's job is to take rays of light and focus them on your retina. Well, no matter what light it is, whether it's sunlight or reflected light off of the cameras and from you to my eyes, it takes light and focuses it to a point on your retina. Well, now take a whole lot of light. Take light from the sun. It takes that light and focuses it to a point on a retina, and it can burn the interior of the retina. And that causes damage. It damages the cells. It will diminish your vision dramatically. So what do we do about it? Certainly, we need solar eclipse glasses. If you're looking up at the sun with your own naked eyes, put solar eclipse glasses on. If you're using a camera, the lens of your camera will do to your camera exactly the same thing as what the lens of your eye will do to your retina. It will burn the inside of the camera. So you should put a filter over the camera. You'll see, at least if you come out to USI, we have a lot of telescopes and cameras viewing the event. All of our cameras and telescopes have filters on them. Same material as what you'd put over your eyes to look up. One thing I would note that, and people should do this, if you have a pair of solar eclipse glasses, go out on a sunny day ahead of the eclipse. Look at what the sun looks like without all the bright, we call it the photosphere. Look, without all the bright light there, look at what the sun looks like with your glasses on. And then you also consider that as a practice for eclipse day. So what you're going to see is an orange ball. With no light around it, you'll see this orange ball. And sometimes you can see solar flares. I saw sunspots the other day when I went out and looked. So it's very important to view with the glasses on. And make sure you have glasses from a reputable source.
Okay.
Don't just randomly go buy them on Amazon. There are codes for safety, and we want to make sure everybody's safe after the fact as well.
I was going to ask you about those glasses because I feel like there are a lot of places providing the glasses in which are probably good sources like your public library or maybe even your workplace, they're providing them. But are there things that you're looking for when you're getting those solar eclipse glasses to make sure that they are going to protect your eyes?
Yes. In fact, on our USI website, we have a list of reputable vendors. So you can trace back where the origin of the glasses came from. And they also should come with a standard stamp on them. It says ISO, it's an ISO standard, and it's code 12312-5 that says they're safe for solar viewing. If they don't have that stamp on them, you can guarantee they're probably not safe.
Okay. So in terms of April 8th, we get to the big day. What time does the eclipse actually hit our area, and when do things start happening here locally?
Yeah, so everybody, or a lot of the news outlets have put out, it's going to be visible at 2:02 p.m., and it's going to last about 3 minutes, a little over 3 minutes. If you go a little further north, you can get up to 4 minutes in the Vincennes area. But in the tri-state, we're going to get about 3 minutes of totality. But that sort of short-sights the event. The moon will come into contact with the sun at about 12:30 and then take its own leisurely path across the sun. It's in no hurry, the moon isn't. And so at about 12:30, the moon, you'll see what we call first contact. And you'll see the edge of the moon come into the front edge of the sun. And then it'll take another hour and a half for it to get to the other side at about 3:30, 3:15 or so. So you've got a good 2 hours, 3 hours of watching the moon approach the sun, cover the sun, and then recede from the sun. So it's not like something you're going to miss.
Right.
You've got time to look up, and you've got time to get you some water, because if we're praying it's sunny and it's a nice day out. But that's sort of the time frame. From 12:30 to 2, you're going to see stuff happening in the heavens.
Well, when we talk about an event like this that, we even have to have a conversation about, that we have to prepare for and give people details, a
Yes.
once-in-a-lifetime event, how do you assume that this event here at Evansville and even in our region is going to be documented?
Well, it should be documented as clearly, as we said before, it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, and I hope people take that opportunity. I hope they take their kids outside. I hope they, obviously get their glasses. But the buildup is exciting. It's an event that we have people coming to USI from 30 states now. A lot from the South. So the path, the ribbon of the totality goes from the Southwest to the Northeast, like I said. So a lot of people in the Southeast, south of Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Louisiana, we've got people coming up from the South because we're a close area in the tri-state area for them to get to and be in totality. So it's not just us. People are coming from all over the United States to come see this.
And you brought up USI, and there are plenty of events
all
around
over.
us in Evansville, in our region, but USI is also planning something, a viewing event, right?
Yes, we have probably the largest event in the tri-state called Solar Palooza. We started planning this over 2.5 years ago. And it's a 2-day event. We have on Sunday night, we have Joan Higginbotham coming to campus to speak in Screaming Eagles Arena. She is a retired NASA astronaut. She was the third African-American female in space. And when she was on the shuttle, she operated the robotic arm that deployed satellites out of the bay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, that is
And she
neat.
has a great message for everybody from young to old. She experienced some failures, she persevered, and she conquered. And she made it to the top, literally to the heavens, as an astronaut. So she's going to tell her story, and that's going to be awesome. And then on Monday, April 8th, we want people to be where they're going to be, get them there early because of traffic and things like that. So we have a full day of events. We have a colloquium from our liberal arts college. It's an interdisciplinary colloquium where talks from professionals all across the academic spectrum are giving short talks on a single theme, Eclipse. So we're having art shows. We have engineers giving talks. We have philosophers giving talks. We have dance performances with eclipse-based theme. And that happens all day. We have our friends from the zoo coming out, Mesker's bringing out the
awesome.
animals, so kids from all ages can watch the animals and pet. And then in Screaming Eagles Arena, we have the Skriegel Showcase. We literally have planned activities, hands-on activities for people all around the arena inside on campus. So there's things for people to do. And then if you're outside on the quad, we have music and acts and the radio stations playing music. We have a food truck festival. So there's just going to be, we were looking for that old time music festival vibe. So you had something to do all day, and that's what we have. So it's going to be fun. And then at 2 o'clock, everybody's going to be looking up.
Yes. Right. Now, right before we go, just want to make sure, is this an event that people have to RSVP for or anything, any of those events that you
Yes,
mentioned?
it would be great if people would go onto the Solar Palooza website and register, but everything is free. You get glasses, you come on campus, all of the presentations, all of the activities are free, and we're going to make you safe. We're going to be sure you're safe, but it's going to be a good time.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
The excitement around the total solar eclipse has inspired a lot of other celebratory events throughout Evansville. And here to discuss some of the events happening downtown is Adam Trinkle, Executive Director with the Downtown Evansville Economic Improvement District. And thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you for the invitation. Good to see you.
Of course. Good to see you. So first of all, there are a lot of people planned to be here in Evansville and throughout our region. So first, let's talk about, in terms of the economic impact, what does that mean for Evansville?
Sure. So our organization has been working with a number of stakeholders, and really it's been a process led by the Convention and Visitors Bureau to really understand how do we best prepare and anticipate all the things that will take place during the eclipse besides the eclipse itself. So we're expected to have 80,000 visitors come into our region. And so we really wanted to set the stage downtown to welcome people. But the Convention and Visitors Bureau did share that the estimated, and this is more on the conservative end, the estimated economic impact for this is over $7 million. So you think about the number of people that are going to come into our area, and they're going to get gas, they're going to book a hotel room for probably multiple nights, they're going to eat here, they're going to spend money shopping and dining and all those things wrapped up to really get that number. But we're very excited about this event. It's one of those things that's been talked about for some time, and so now we're really almost crossing the finish line on it. We're really looking forward to April 8th.
And I feel like anytime we talk about economic impact, we always bring up small businesses because small businesses are, inevitably the heart of a downtown. So what does that look like for small businesses, and how does that boost really help them?
Yeah, so we have, 50 plus small businesses in downtown Evansville when you look at our shops and our retail, and then you look at our restaurants and dining options. And so one thing that we intentionally wanted to create is an opportunity for not only our residents, but our visitors who are coming into the area to support these businesses, because so many of them have really embraced the Eclipse in unique ways. We have Lick's Deli and Ice Cream, who has an Eclipse Sunday. How cool is that? Shops that have Eclipse soap, Eclipse merchandise, and so we have something called the Eclipse Explorer Passport, where people can go around to those locations. And the thought behind it is they physically go in there, and it's our actual hope that not only are they frequenting that business, but they're also making a purchase that day.
Right.
So you can get the passport at those 9 participating locations, and you get a stamp just for going to the place, and then you also get a stamp for actually making a purchase that day. So again, we talk about that year-round, our organization, the importance of shopping and dining local. When you support a local business, you're supporting your neighbors, you're supporting a business that contributes to the tax base. 67 cents of every dollar you spend at a small business stays in that community. So it's really important for us, and we are very excited that a lot of our businesses have embraced the Eclipse and the opportunities that it presents.
And that's the passport
It
that you have
is,
with
yes.
you? Okay, so how do people get their hands on
So
this
they can
one?
go to any one of these locations, and the locations are on our Facebook page or on our website, downtownevansville.com. But most of these locations are on Main Street, River City Coffee and Goods, that River Kitty Cat Cafe, Your Brother's Bookstore. And they just pick it up at that location. And like I said, they get a stamp just for physically going into the location. And then the hope is that they'll take the opportunity to also shop or dine local and make a purchase, and they'll get a second stamp. We know there's anticipation that there's going to be a lot of traffic and things. So we just wanted to create an option for over a multiple week period where people could participate.
So you talk about the traffic, you talk about all these people. This is an event that you can't really, there's no playbook. You haven't been able to plan for this. This is all new. So what does it look like planning for an event like this?
And that's the hardest thing, because we are asked daily, probably multiple times a day, what are you expecting or anticipating?
Right.
And to your point, we don't fully know. I mean, we can talk to other communities that have had a total solar eclipse, but in our area, we haven't had one, and we won't have another one for 600 plus years. So we are closing Riverside Drive. We're hosting a free community viewing event. So it's really important for us to provide an opportunity for the community, people of all backgrounds, to join us. We know that the riverfront is going to be really prime viewing spot for this event. So we're closing down Riverside Drive from Walnut to Court Street, and then we'll have some food trucks, some music, activities for kids like free face painting, free crafts, and just really wanting to invite the community to join us for this event. We are advertising it from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., recognizing that the main event is around 2:02 p.m. for
Right.
3 minutes, but there will be a partial eclipse that I believe starts around 12:45-ish, and that it won't end until 3:20. So we're just wanted to create a window of opportunity for people to come down and enjoy the event.
Absolutely. And where can people, maybe it's an online website, but where can people find a list of events happening in downtown?
So we have really worked to create a comprehensive list of everything that's going on related to the Eclipse downtown, and it's on our social media platforms, our Instagram page. We've done reels. I mean, even places like our Arts Council on Main Street is showing a whole exhibition kind of focused on the eclipse. So we're really just trying to elevate what all of our local businesses and destination downtown are doing. So you can find that out on our Facebook page, Instagram, which is Downtown Evansville, Indiana, or visit our website, downtownevansville.com.
Perfect. Another big part of this is safety. Of course, we're going to have a lot of people in downtown near our riverfront. So what does that look like preparing for safety-wise?
Yeah, so we have great partners with the Evansville Police Department and the Evansville Fire Department, and they'll have a strong presence at this event. Similar to the event that we host every year on July 4th, fireworks on the Ohio. The main thing we want visitors and residents to know that if you see something that concerns you, say something to a police officer. They will be there, have a large presence, and they'll be able to assist with any concerns.
Perfect. And then last question before we go, traffic. Everyone is talking about the traffic. What is being done to help mitigate that situation?
Well, there's a lot of coordination, as I spoke to earlier. There's been stakeholder meetings, and there's a whole public safety committee. So they're doing a great job with coordinating that and trying to minimize street closures. I know I just talked about a street closure, but making sure that people have access to things that are going on. There's a lot of great events in the area. So I know that there's a really concentrated effort with that. Not only our Evansville Police Department, but the Vanderburgh County Sheriff's Office, and then the Indiana State Police. So everybody's working together on it, trying to mitigate some closures and as much as possible just to anticipate all the people that are coming into the area.
Absolutely. It sounds like patience is going to be key for everyone.
It will be, and everybody just has to realize, to your point, that this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing that happens. There's no official playbook on it. And just maybe a little patience, extra patience on April 8th will go a long way, too.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Adam, for joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome to a special WNIN Newsmakers segment that highlights local businesses. Joining us today is Jenny Lamble, owner of Be Happy Pie Company. Well, you have to be happy with pies all around you every day.
You do.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for
Tell
having
me what kind of products and services, obviously pies, that you have at your business.
So we do, of course, a whole line of sweet pies. We also do savory. So we do chicken pot pie, taco pie, quiche. We do those on certain days. Cookies, scones. We do sweet rolls, sweet breads. Our cookie pies are really popular. So we do a lot of brownies, coffee cake. Anything good you want to eat, we can.
What's a cookie pie?
A cookie pie is we take 2 cookies and we make a marshmallow fluff that we put between them. And so it's sort of whoopie pies, if you're familiar with what a whoopie pie is. That's more of a Pennsylvania thing, but it's 2 cookies together with a delicious cream in the middle.
Oh my goodness, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Do you offer any sugar-free?
We do not.
Okay.
We do offer what we call our pie bites. So those are a smaller portion. We try to really do everything real, no artificial anything. So we make everything from scratch. So we take great pride in that. So, if it's a sugar issue, we recommend maybe just having a smaller portion.
Sure. So what about, how do you see your business growing and expanding in the future?
Sure. So we started in 2017 at the storefront. I had a kitchen in my basement for a while. We did the farmers markets, kind of got our name out there. And then we opened our second location in January, this past January. So we're looking to possibly franchise in the future. So that's kind of where we're at. We also ship nationwide, so that's a big undertaking that we're still working on perfecting, but we were able to ship a lot of our items nationwide.
What made you decide to do this in the first place?
Oh my gosh. So I was a school counselor, and we started doing active shooter training, and I was very, needless to say, unnerved by that. So I went to a career counselor, and he said, what do you like to do? And I said, I like to bake, and I bake for friends, and I've always loved that. And we talked, and he said, every time you talk about baking, your whole face lights up. He said, you should explore that. And I remember leaving there kind of annoyed that, you want someone to just tell you, okay, what's my next step? But obviously it doesn't work like that. So I did. I applied to work to have a spot at the farmers market on Franklin Street, and it kind of exploded from there, and people said, you need a storefront. And I was like, this is insane. I just want to do this for fun. And it just kind of snowballed. And so we opened our storefront on the west side in 2017.
So where are your 2 locations now?
So we're on Mount Vernon Avenue on the west side. And then we also opened our second location on Pi Day, January 23rd this year. Yes, that worked out well. And we're on East Virginia, Burkhart in Virginia. So it's a great location. We have more coffee offerings there and more seating. So it's a bigger spot we have a nice outdoor patio that we've just opened. So
Now, is that across from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles?
It is.
Okay.
Right across the street. Yep.
So what do you think, or what do people tell you even makes your pies and what you have to offer different from any other dessert place?
So I feel like we hear a lot that the treats are delicious, everything is good. Again, we take great pride in making everything from scratch. We strive for consistency. We do small batches, so we try to make sure everything is well done and consistent. But it's also the experience. We're the Be Happy Pie Company, so we want to treat people like we want to be treated. And, we try to know people's names. We want to know about their families. We don't want them to just come in and buy a treat and leave. If they're in a hurry, we don't want to hinder them, but we want to get to know them. And that's been sort of the best thing about the whole business is I didn't expect that part of it. I think that it makes it special because everyone celebrates around food, especially dessert. And so, we want it to be special. They're spending a lot of money, and it's important to us that they leave there happy and satisfied.
What kind of challenges have you experienced?
Of course, increase in prices for our raw materials. That's been a challenge. The pandemic, of course, was hard for everyone. We are very blessed with an awesome staff. I call them the Pie Minions. That's a term of endearment because they're so awesome. They work hard. They're awesome people. So
I'm guessing they love to bake also.
They do. A lot of them do on their own. But yeah, I think it's just we try to roll with those challenges and look at those as opportunities to make ourselves better. And again, we try to work through those with a good attitude because I feel like that's your only control. So
tell me really quick, what kind of hours do you have?
Sure, we're open Tuesday through Friday, 7:30 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to noon. We're closed on Sundays and Mondays. We're there working Monday at the west side, but closed Sundays and Mondays.
Okay. Well, it sounds really delicious. I'm
thank
ready.
you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you to our guests for joining us today. Next week, we'll look at all of the new updates occurring with the Evansville Water and Sewer Utility. I'm Jessica Costello, evening news anchor for Eyewitness News. Thanks for watching WNIN Newsmakers.